James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society at NAB 2023. I'm here with my friend Michael Cioni. He's working with Frame.io, and he's going to tell us about everything that's new with Frame.io, and there's always a lot.
And you said this is year 20, right?
DCS is 20 years old now.
I believe this is my 20th NAB. I think 03 was my first time here, so to think we've done this for 20 years is kind of incredible, but we're really here on a mission to just eliminate the media card, right? And it's really just this world where we want to get rid of these things so we don't have to be governed by this physical media anymore. And so seeing this transition over all these years is really exciting, but now we've got something really cool. So Rob can first demonstrate what Cameron's got going. In the back of Cameron's camera, he's using the new Teradek Prism Mobile. So we've got it on Alexa LF here, and this allows you to shoot H.265 4K files, transmit them right to the editor through Frame.io. But the Prism Mobile has built-in modems. So T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, AT&T. So if you're shooting journalism style like this, or even cinema style, the Prism Mobile gives you the access using cell towers to transmit wherever you are, and it's just, and you're experiencing it, right? You don't even think about it, right?
It's even better than last year, the first year we used Frame.io.
Yeah, so it's less weight, less work, and the Prism Mobile is like all-in-one, encoder, transmitter, all-in-one. So that's really cool. So there's our shot, and Cameron's doing the same thing we're doing with this demo. So it's a pretty cool example of how it works. And this footage you're seeing is uploaded through a cell tower using the Prism Mobile. But then the other exciting thing is what we're doing with Fujifilm. This is a really great company because they're really progressive and they're really thinking about what we could do. Rob, I'll have you take a few images. So what we've done with Fujifilm is Frame.io is now fully integrated into the XH2 and the XH2S cameras. The XH2S is a 26 megapixel, the H2 is a 40 megapixel that shoots 8K ProRes. So now you can shoot log 10-bit ProRes on an H2 with RAW and photos, and now you're integrated into Frame.io and you're uploading, and you could use your phone as a hotspot, and you could do that tethered or wirelessly through your phone. And so now we're seeing the images transmit from a camera, and to me it's all about the freedom of photography and videography not needing any other devices. So maybe next year, if you're on a Fuji H2, you're shooting this and you don't even need the Prism Mobile because the camera's doing the encoding, and it shoots a ProRes and an H.265 at the same time, transmits either one, and if you don't have the bandwidth for a ProRes, you just upload the proxy, you edit that, and then you relink it to the ProRes later. If you have great bandwidth, then you can upload the ProRes too, and that's up to you to decide. So I really think the mirrorless camera world is really upping their game, and Fuji's setting a new pace for being able to show how powerful it is to kind of connect things together. And I think in the photography space, this is a win for photographers in terms of creative control because they're shooting their images and they can decide who to distribute them on their own. And we have an integration with Capture One, so you could start editing your photos in Capture One from the Fuji through Frame.io, and you could do that remotely, and then you can publish them to a product like SmugMug, which is a e-commerce distribution, so you can make pillows and magnets and photo albums. And so it's like thinking about a photographer taking an image and buying it on the internet, selling it on the internet, all without having to move a media card or hard drive is really a dream come true.
So we started shooting our interviews on tape, and then we went to cards, and now we're camera to cloud.
You're right. It's what you described with tape and cards and things like that, and hard drives, right? The Red One had a hard drive connected to it, FireWire drive. It's really just, we want to get rid of the governance of the physical world because it always is a barrier between you, him, and an editor. It's always going to be there, and the cloud is the only way to do that. Digital promised people, it'll speed things up over film. Maybe a little. But it didn't really, because you still had to download or digitize or ship, and all those challenges still existed. It's the cloud that really connects everything together. And I'm thinking back, and I remember these. I realize looking back now, 20 years, right? Wow. I remember thinking about how many calories we wasted on pointless arguments, and it's kind of humbling. And I know it's a little bit my ego talking now, but it's like. We had to argue with people about shooting 4K, because people fought that. I remember people arguing that we need to protect the sanctity of widescreen and we can't let people shoot 16:9. These are silly arguments. Like, we need to focus on the big picture. And when we think of generative AI and just AI in general, what that's going to do, it's going to polarize the market. And you got to make sure you're on the right side of history. And we don't want to have wasteful calories burned on the wrong arguments, right? And I think people that really dig in and try to resist some of the technological things that are going to happen with cloud are going to regret it in a very short time. And so it's really, this is the last year, right now, 2023 is the last year where it is not an AI-driven market. In 2024, it will be. And we're going to have to reorient all of our conversations and ideas and workflows around what AI brings to it. And it'll be very polarizing. And I'm really looking forward to having those discussions, but hope we can learn from our mistakes in the past and arguments that really were superficial and didn't matter, like 4K and HDR, which were like seemingly silly things to even argue about, fidelity. But now we're going to be talking about generative AI and other tools like that. And that's really what we're setting up for, is being able to help create the next level of fidelity and control with AI technology moving into this, where today they're totally separate things. We're going to see that merge, and that's the next frontier.
Well, camera to cloud's working really well for us, so I thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Cameron. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for everybody supporting it. We really appreciate it.